From a teaching perspective, it's the level of inquiry. As a yoga practitioner and teacher, it's always that inquiry. Why is it working? And that's the thing I think that is missing today. There's not enough inquiry from teachers who are asking, why am I doing what I'm doing? Who's it for? What's the benefit? I'm the founder of the Institute of Yoga Sports Science. I developed a fascination with movement from a very early age, an appreciation of movement, because I was born with a club foot. And that was rectified very early on. And that led me into dance, where I got injured. And that injury took me into yoga 30 years ago. That injury led me to a yoga class that I reluctantly went to because it was too slow, and I was used to the high performance element of dance, and I didn't like it. I was bored, just was rolling my eyes and thinking, this is not what I want for my body. About 3 weeks later, I felt the difference off the mat and in my life, and I kept saying to myself, wow, I don't feel that pain or discomfort. What have I been doing differently? Oh, yeah, I've been taking some yoga classes. And then that's when my relationship, I leaned in more to yoga. I became so fascinated. The practice, it was not any one asana. It wasn't a sequence. It wasn't a vinyasa flow that we see today. It was the space and the breath. And it was the development of awareness. Now I recognize through my work that it was all about engaging the nervous system where the shift occurs. But for me then it was like really a sense of slowly waking up, coming home to myself. And the movement side of it was an expression which I felt very comfortable with, but it was a culmination of many different factors, plus having an excellent teacher who was a sensitive teacher in that the teacher did a lot of work on herself and was always learning more. So there was many factors. I was invited at the English Institute of Sport to work with an injured athlete in the strength and conditioning room. I was able to give a few small techniques, breathing techniques, mainly recovery. My friend had said to me, go and do your yoga thing. Go and do your yoga thing because we don't know what else to do for this person. And truthfully, at that point, 30 years ago, I didn't really know what my yoga thing was. I found small ways to help this athlete. And in that moment, that's when my life changed with sport. It was a light bulb moment of recognizing that here I was as a yoga teacher that could offer some benefit, but how was sport going to receive the benefits that yoga could bring? And that led me to a 10-year journey of research and development, working with different athletes and different sports. Let me come in and help. Let me learn what it is your obstacles are. Let me try and find some kind of solution that can help make this relationship between yoga and sport work. Trying and testing in the strength and conditioning environments, like what is the obstacle to entry here? Why is yoga not used everywhere in sport with every single athlete from whatever age you are? Why can you not benefit? It has to be something which is easily receivable from the individual in no matter what environment. Here we are in New York with all of this noise, a cacophony of noise, and yet it's a fantastic spiritual practice as well as a science practice, because you have to look at movement through a new lens of being functional. You have to function. So here we are in sport, needing to function for the demands of the sport, and we have to function in life. The obstacles I identified in sport were that coaches, athletes, performance directors, sports medicine departments, the perception of yoga, it's only women that do it, and they wear purple lycra, they have open-toe sandals, and they eat lentils. That's not going to work in sport. The other obstacle was there's not enough stats. There's no data. And the results, how could you prove the results were linked back to spending money on bringing a yoga intervention in? The environment of sport is so alien to the yoga studio. So for the teacher to come into this and be able to teach, They didn't have enough ability or education to adapt from the safe sanctuary of the yoga studio, knowing they're frustrated because they know yoga can work. They just couldn't bridge it into sport. So from a communication perspective for yoga teachers, Sanskrit doesn't work in sport. The language of sport has to be accessible language to the athlete. It has to be very clear to their benefit, why they're doing what they're doing. It also has to be very athlete-centered. And for teachers, yoga teachers, it was a frustration because they didn't have the communication repertoire to know how to communicate effectively.